What's up everybody, welcome to the Life of a Board Gamer. My name is Daniel and today we are talking about MINOS, Dawn of the Bronze Age, a new game from Board and Dice, kind of a little bit on the heavy side, but still it's pretty easy to understand. The turns just go around and you do all kinds of different things in this game, from playing cards, from area, majority stuff, scoring and all of that. So yeah, without further ado, let me show you what you get inside this box. And while I'm showing you, let me tell you what I think about the game. Now, I have really limited tables, so not everything is going to fit on it. So I'm going to try to show it to you as best as possible. First of all, the rule book. The game is pretty easy to understand. There is a lot to explain. This is not an easy game, but after you explain the game, everything works really nice. The iconography is really well understanding. You know, when you see those icons, you know what you do, and if you don't, there's always like explanation of the symbols on the back side, which is really awesome. There's also a small rule book for solo rules, which of course I have never even touched, because you know how when you pack the game you get some extra bags for some strange reason. So yeah, we're just gonna keep those aside. Okay, so player components. Each of the players will get a whole bunch of the components with them. So, and they're really nice screen printed components. As you can see, there's like these cities that you're gonna build on a map. There's your workers that will move around the map, you know, stuff like that. Oops, there goes the counter. And we also have a little boats that are going to go and score you some points. There's also some fortresses that go next to your city. You can build them if you don't have city in that area. And there's also, I forgot to show it to you, a tree that represents sort of like a farm. So yeah, that's like the components that you get, and they are really, really nice. A little bit on a chunky side components, but still really nicely manageable in hand. Now you get a bunch of tokens. So these tokens represent the permanent resources, because in this game you're gonna spend resources, but if you have these, you're gonna just say I have them and play the card, because you need to, you know, spend resources to play the cards in this game. And these are like permanent resources that will permanently stay with you, which is something that I really like in this game. We also got some extra stuff, components for first player tokens, stuff like that. Now there's going to be also some tribes that you are going to try and defeat on the map. These are like the city. When you are building those cities that I just mentioned previously, you're gonna get some points when building that city. But game revolves around these dice and playing these cards. So I'm gonna come to that last, you know, so I can show you first all the small things and everything, you know. So this thing over here, I think these are like solo components, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, I have not touched that one yet. Some silica gel, of course, you always have to have silica gel in your games. And in this game, as I said, there's two types of resources. This one, when you spend, you need to spend them, and these one are permanent resources that will stay with you. And yeah, also you got money, and you got a like army power that you're gonna use throughout the game to get different things, you know, to score some points. And these are just rewards for the ships. When they move up the track, you will get some rewards and stuff going on. So yeah. These are also unique goals. Each vase has to be 3 different color vases. Let me quickly show you the vases, because they look really nice. So yeah, basically you just have 3 different colored vases, and they will score you some points at the end of the game, throughout the game, not at the end of the game. Throughout the game, as soon as you are claiming this goal, you know, you're gonna get some extra points. And cards and dice I'm gonna leave for the last. I want to show you the map, because it's really big map. Oh my god, there's so much going on in this game. Now the game looks like a lot, it definitely looks like that, but I don't think it's that heavy. Let me just take out the board. I think I already damaged it a little bit, so when I was opening it, but yeah, nothing much, nothing like permanent or that's gonna destroy the game. So yeah, as you can see, the board doesn't even fit here on my table. So basically, you are going to send your workers and build your cities and fortresses and those farms around this map. Over here you will have cards that will your boats move on, and you will get some tokens, as I showed you here. And this is where you will be playing your dice. and claiming actions before, you know, activating them. And these are the tracks that you're going to try and climb and get some extra special stuff from those tracks. And up here shows you all the permanent resources, how many of them is left, because you keep some of them here. And this just explains you in when is the middle scoring, and after round 2 we have a middle scoring, and after round 4 we have a like full end game scoring, and then we are done with the game. So basically that is the map. On the other side it's for different amount of players. So yeah, that's the map. What else we have here? Oh my god. Okay, I didn't damage it that much. Okay, damn. So yeah, you have this. If you are playing in a less players, you're gonna cover some parts of the map. And these are your player boards. They're really nicely done, like in layers, you know. They have like double layered boards, so the components will stay where they are. And basically this board explains you how much you need to pay to build the city, the fortress, the ships, you know, the farms and all of that. This is your income track. You're gonna earn some income throughout the game. And another board for 4th player. And the last thing that you're gonna have is these things. So basically those are where you're gonna put your dice. You use these just in a few players, you know, to cover some spots. You don't have like that many spots going on. And you will also have some personal goals of yours, like special abilities. So these are like there's 5 of them. You're just gonna randomly give each player one. And as you are doing throughout the game, as you are progressing, you're gonna get better and better at this. So you're gonna get some extra discount for the cards when you play them, or you don't have to like pay something. You get something when you are building your buildings, or when you can exchange coins for army and vice versa. Some cards, you know, something will be different for each of those. And this is the tracks where the ships will go. They are double-sided, so you can choose how you wanna, you know, use them. And I think these are just the starting cards and all of that. And that's the, oh, we have another one, silica gel. Yeah, but I want to talk about, let me move all this aside. I want to talk about dice. I want to talk about cards. So cards are divided into 2 groups. First group of cards is going to be played until the round 2 ends, and then for the round 3 and 4 you're going to use a second group of cards. And basically you're going to have, as you can see, there's a lot of cards. There's going to go a lot of cards through your hands. Basically you need to pay the cost in coins, and you need to pay the resources. If it's the permanent resource, you can just say I have that resource, pay 8 coins and play the card in front of yourself, do the ability and be done with it, get some extra points at the end of the game for played cards, stuff like that. Or sometimes if the cards even require two of these resources. I'm not sure if those at the age 1 require any of those. I don't think, no. So yeah, they don't. I'm gonna show you okay, here it is, first one on the red one, So yeah, let me just quickly take them out. So yeah, as you can see, these cards require, most of them require 2 resources to be played, so you need to pay both of these resources. Or if you have them in like permanent, you can just say you have them, you know, and that would be fine. So yeah, the game revolves around these cards and around these dice, and it does something really wonderful with the dice, especially. So when you roll the dice, you're gonna get all sorts of different numbers. And so for example, you roll all of your dice. Let's say we are playing 4-player game. So you roll all of your dice. The first player will pick any of those dice and he will put them on, let me just quickly take out the board. Where are those spaces? Oh, come on. I have to open it up now. Okay, so yeah, here it is. I'm working with a limited space, so yeah, have patience with me. So yeah, once you pick a dice, you will use one of the components to mark that it's your dice, and you will choose any of these spaces, you know, any of these 5 to claim for yourself. So let's say, for example, I put a 4 over here. I always have to put it in the leftmost space. And if somebody picks a lower number than 4 and wants to come on this space, he will push me out. So I get a little bit, like, this is like a little bit less better than this one, and this one is of course less better than this one, and stuff like that, you know. And some of them are actually you know, you want to aim for some of those if you can. But yeah, basically they will push me out, and if another player comes with the 1, they can't push him, so they will just push the 4 and put this one here. And now this is where the beauty of the game comes. If you have collectively 9 points, am I saying it correctly? I just said 9, and I'm not really sure for some strange reason. I think it is like that. Let me just quickly consult the rulebook. I was correct. It's 9. So yeah, you are going to look at your dice, and if you selected dice, the gray color doesn't count in that. So if you selected yellow, blue, or red dice, and their value is collectively 9 or more, you will progress on a track. Where was it? Come on. Oh man, I should be more prepared for these. Now this is, I know how it looks, but it's just a big map. So yeah, let's say for example I had like a 5 and I had 1, and let's say I had 2 and I had them over here somewhere, I don't know. And so I will look at my dice. So I have in a blue color, I have 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not enough. But for example, if this one was a 3, so then I would have 8 and 2 is 10. That's 1 more than I needed, and I would move on this blue track 1 space up. I will get the reward, maybe something that will help me by the end of the game. You know, some of these rewards are immediate, some of these will boost how many cards you can get, you can play, stuff like that, you know. So what I was trying to say is I really like how these dice work. Now, also the best thing about this dice here, that how it works, is that when you place your dice, you don't get anything. You get your rewards once you pick up the dice. And how do you pick up your dice? You have to pick the highest dice first. So you have to be very careful, really careful. Where do you place your dice? So if you first play build, let's say you play a big dice on a build action, and then your smaller dice is on this card action, and maybe you wanted to get some cards, you know, because it can help you out with building action, stuff like that, you know. So then you should probably play it 5 at 2 over here, you know. So you have to constantly be aware what you are trying to do on your turn, but then at the same moment, because other players are also playing, you have to figure out where do you want to place your dice and where your dice will be placed in that, because if somebody has the lower number, they will go first before you, you know, stuff like that. Now the gray dice can be used with one of the other colors to boost them up a little bit, but you still have to use the color. And yeah, so playing the cards, doing these building actions, doing these dice actions, you know, where to put those dice, how to put them, and then transferring all of that to the board where you are trying to like have the most territories, because territories will score. If you have majority, you will get a lot of points. You really want to have majority in all the areas that where you are, but still, if you just have presence in the area, you will probably get something. I mean, probably, not always. So keeping all of that in your mind, you know, boosting this track, playing these dice, covering this map. I know it sounds like a lot, and it is. It's not that it's not. It's a lot. There's lots of going on in this game. But everything is so straightforward. You know, when you are playing the cards, it's really easy to understand what you do. So, for example, this card, you just play it and you get 1 free build. I mean, that's pretty easy and simple. And if you decide, when you play your cards, you will keep them by your side. You can also play them directly under your map, under your player board. That's when they will give you some passive abilities. So each time you do some of the actions, the cards will activate and do something for you. So if you play a action that's this one, it will give you an option to move 1 meeple from one space to another, you know, so you can claim majority in some spaces, you know. And the red cards are of course even better. They will even give you more stuff because they come later in the game. There is also a very light chance of you getting these in advance, you know, before they show up. You can get some of these, but they're really hard to play because they require a lot of resources, a lot of tokens that you might not have at the start of the game. But if you do, it would be really awesome to play them, you know. So having that all in mind, I know it sounds like a lot, as I already said, but this game is awesome. I like this game so much. Everything about this game is awesome. The way you play your dice, the way you interact with other players, because you see somebody's going for that red because he needs that boost. You can kind of a little bit of hate pick them. It really doesn't matter, because you will not get all the dice that you want. So you might as well, mess up other plans if you see that you will not be able to get your dice, or maybe you can risk it a little bit. Try to go for your color of the dice, the track you want to boost, because boosting those tracks is really important. It will bring you a lot of good things if you boost those tracks. So yeah, overall, combining all that, I find this game really, really interesting. The card play, the way that you can play the cards, you can play them for effect, or you can play them for like these passive abilities. And sometimes the card that has great effect also has a great passive ability. Now you have to wager, do I really need that effect right now, or I can get this every turn? That it's not that there's like not every turn, every time you activate that action you will get those, but will you go for that? Because those might fill up really quickly, because otherwise, let's say for example, want to build, and everybody will go on a build, and there's only 4 spaces in a 4-player game, so it will fill up really quickly. It's just one turn, and you get to pick 3 dice throughout the game, throughout each turn. So one turn, all the dice, let's say, clog up all the building, and now your card maybe was better with the playing ability right away and get you something like a lots of coins, or maybe army, because those are really important. And yeah, overall it's a lot, but it's fun a lot, and it's easy to understand. It's intuitive. It's you understand what everything is doing and how it is doing. And I don't know, we didn't have that much questions when we were playing it for the first time, although it looks like everybody would like go through the rule book each and every second. Mostly it's just iconography until you figure out how it works. Once you figure out, there's really very little unknown about it. So yeah, if you like these types of games, that are a little bit on a heavier Euro side, but there is kind of a little bit of conflict in here, I would definitely recommend you check MINOS, Dawn of the Bronze Age, because Board and Dice makes some really great game, and this one is not exception. It's an excellent game, looks really, really cool, everything works really nicely in one big pile of everything. I just love this game. Definitely check out Minos. And yeah, that is that. Thank you all for watching. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you all for spending your precious time with me. I definitely appreciate it. Sorry about the sound. It's just where I am right now for the few months. So it will be back to normal in a few months. So keep it strong with me. And yeah, thank you to all the Patreons, to subscribers, to comments that you leave me. I try to reply to all of those. So yeah, until next time. Pozdrav. It is a new game from oh my god, from Board and Dice. Well, this is this one is like a medium heavy game from that company, because they kind of make some light games, then some